Hollywood is at it again. They're making a live-action remake of another classic. This time, Night at the Museum.
Live action? It already was live action.
But is the new version also going to be live action?
Is it going to be animated?
No. 8772 RadioU. By the way, didn't they make a Night at the Museum like cartoon?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure they did.
But the OG, Ben Stiller, live action.
Yeah, and they're doing it again.
Why? With somebody else?
I'll tell you why. The almighty dollar. That's why. Because it seems to be working. Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon have been making tons of money. And so why stop there? So now Night at the Museum is going to get its own live action. I mean, it is live action, you're right. But it is going to get its own remake. They are bringing it back. Obviously, this is just in the very early stages. But they already know who the writer is. Somebody I've never heard of, whose credits are not impressive to me. But no judgment. And I can't imagine that Ben Stiller is probably going to be involved. It says that it's going to be set at an entirely different museum altogether.
Okay, so not in New York anymore.
No, well, maybe, but not at the same museum.
Yeah, not that. Okay, well, I mean, I'm not opposed, I guess, but I just feel like, why?
I told you.
I know, but I don't like that reason.
That's the reason to do anything.
But why?
That's the reason they made the first one.
Well,
you can poo-poo on it, but...
Sure, you make movies to make money, but why not just come up with something entirely new?
Because that's hard.
I know, but I feel like it would have better dividends than,
I don't know.
Constantly running back to the same material.
What do we talk about this in so many different walks of life that... We talked about it with Fire Festival yesterday. You could try to sell some kind of original movie at 20th Century Studios, and maybe it's a really good idea. But if nobody's ever heard of it before, it's already starting at the Night at the Museum reboot has a big advantage because people that are going to the theaters already know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm also not happy with a lot of these remakes and a lot of these reboots because it just flies in the face of the original, and so it's like not honoring to the memory of the original, and also in some circumstances makes me like overall not happy about the franchise. Maybe
this one, because it's not the same as How to Train Your Dragon or Lilo and Stitch, where they're taking there's going to be at a different museum, different actors,
totally new story.
So this is truly a reboot rather than a remake, basically a tribute is what the new How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch are.
Yeah, that's
so hopefully it has the cachet, but it'll have some distance from the Ben Stiller version. And so we can view it as its own thing. I
mean, that is better than trying to remake the original, try to recast. You can't recast Robin Williams. You can't recast Ben Stiller.
It did have a great cast. Owen Wilson, Dick Van Dyke, Steve Coogan, Amy Adams, Hank Azaria, Dan Stevens. It had some great actors in it.
Absolutely amazing actors in it. And so I love that, especially the first one. So, I mean... Again, like I said, I'm not opposed, I guess, if it's going to be a totally new story, but still.
This is where the money is. And we just keep, I'm looking at the box office, we just keep forking it over. So I can't blame them.